on this computer. Okay. I do believe we are recording now so that everybody can watch hopefully later. So the first thing, and actually before you to mute yourself, and you don't have to answer now, but things to be thinking about: every third business training, as opposed to me picking the topic for what we're training on, I want to know what you guys feel is missing or what information you need the most. So if you think of something, you can say it now. If you think of it at the end of the meeting, or if not, put it in the group text. But I want to make sure that like every third meeting, I'm getting something that you guys find valuable, and that it's something that you're like, this is what I'm struggling with in my business. So I'll get recommendations for that from you guys and from everybody else, but just something to think about. And Kobe, welcome. I know you're in your car, but we just started, so you haven't missed anything. And then on the 5th is like going to be the 6th week, because last week was funny because the whole kiss and tell thing, and I didn't really count that as a normal training because it was just all about kiss and tell. But then I'm going to bring in a guest trainer on like our 5th/6th week. So it'll be somebody aside from me coming in and doing these trainings, just so that you guys can hear how other people run their business, because I find that super valuable. So quick little recap on that now this week. And I'm setting my timer because, like I said, I don't want to go over time on these things. We are talking about smart ordering. And the very, very first part about smart ordering comes in immediately in front loading and what that means. And we hit on that last week and we briefly talked about it, but I will talk about front loading at the end of every month because it's that important. So when the month relapses, everybody goes back to the 20% discount level. So you need to make sure I'm just going to mute that. I don't know if I can. Kobe, I'm just trying to mute you. I'm just getting a little background noise from the car. So
yeah, I just checked it and realized I wasn't on mute, so I'm muting it.
Okay, sounds good. So at the beginning of the month, everybody goes back to being at that 20% distributor level. Doesn't matter where you were at the previous month. Everybody in the company goes back to 20% off. This wasn't really ever an issue, but it's going to start to become a bit of an issue now with kiss and tell, because if you have a customer go in and they place an order before you front load, you are only going to make, and kiss and tell takes an additional 5. So you're only going to make 15% of that order, where most of us on this call order at 50 to 40% off. So all of a sudden to only make 15% on that order is going to be a big like, ugh. So that's why now more so than ever, front loading is important, which is why we talked about last week trying to get a party booked for the end of the month. I realized that that's today and tomorrow's Halloween, and it's just like, So even if you didn't have a party in these past few days, but you have some orders to purchase, I highly recommend waiting until the 1st to place that order. Unless you're trying to hit a goal, like if you're trying to hit an end of the month goal, absolutely hit your end of the month goal. Like Crystal, you've already hit your significant Senna seller. Barbara, we already talked, you'll hit your fast start in the 1st. Kobe, you've gotten your 300. So it's like, unless you're trying to hit a goal with smart ordering, I recommend pausing on placing an order until the 1st. So if you were going to place an order tonight or tomorrow, I would honestly highly recommend pushing pause on that button and placing it on the 1st as soon as you can. I know you guys are Kobe and I are here on the West Coast, but you guys out there on East and Central time, Senate time is Pacific time. So you're just going to want to do it first thing on Sunday morning, where for me, I'm going to do it at 12:01 on like right at midnight. I'm going to place my orders so that my discount level is set. So the very first thing I'm talking about is front loading and why it's important. Barbara, you're going to see this graphic again, but I want to show it one more time. Oh, I have to share my screen. I just clicked on it on my computer. Like, can't you guys see that? No, you can't. Let me share my screen and then you will be able to see it. Okay, so just another reminder of if you don't front load, how much money you could lose. So I am saying like that you've already front loaded, you have your order in, like I know Barbara's doing Christmas shopping. I do inventory building, which we're going to talk about next. What is smart inventory to have? You want to get that front load order in, because if you don't front load, and these exact same people, Jane, Julie, Karen, Sue, Mandy, Jamie, and Kim, if all of them place that exact same order without you front loading, you're only going to make the lowest amount. You're only going to make the 162.80. Where if you front load, you are going to make the full profit of the $300.50 on their order. And we can go line by line. I know Barbara saw this last week, so I just don't want to go too long into it. But it basically just is showing that for those first three, actually for the first two orders, you're only making the 20% discount level. Then for the next 5 orders, you're only making the next discount level of 30%. And then you finally get into that 40 or 50% discount level. And the only reason I use both is because like Crystal and Kobe, you and I were all past our 90 days. So we would be at that 40%, we would be at that 240, where Barbara and some of our newer girls, they still get that 50% off jumpstart, so they can get that 50% off. So I just look at that amount of money lost and I'm like, that's a huge chunk of money. So if you don't have orders to place, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen because that's the only thing that I had to show you guys today. But if you don't have orders to place right now, I still encourage front loading, not just to be like, just buy product. But I do find it valuable, especially now with the holidays coming up, to have a few things on hand. And if you're like, well, what should I have on hand? Here's my best items that I recommend. Glossy Gloss. Always have Glossy Gloss on hand. I personally have 10 on hand, but I think you would be sufficient to have at least 5 in your inventory. So at least 5 Glossy Gloss, if not up to 10. Oops remover, I always have the same amount of oops as glossy, but you could have, as long as you have 3 to 5 oops removers in your hand, that's good to go. But I say 3 to 5, and I'm like, if you meet a mom and a sister and a aunt, that's all of your glossy and your oops gone out of your stock. So never be afraid to carry glossy and oops. You will always reorder that and you will always make your money back on that. So if you're wanting to front load and you don't know where, glossy, oops. Lip balm. With winter coming up, holy shamoly, get lip balm in your hand to have. Because if you're sending the little lip balm, lip scrub samples out with orders, the second people try it, they order it. And if you, as long as you follow up, let me rephrase that. I recently had a distributor I was talking with. She was like, I send samples and people just don't order. I'm like, well, do you ask them how they liked it? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, first step is follow up on the samples that you're sending people. But if you're sending them the glossy lip balm, lip balm, lip scrub sample, I would say 70% of them will order the lip balm. Maybe not the scrub. The scrub for me, it's a good seller, but it's not one of my best. So I would say if you want to have 1 scrub on hand, then at least you're set to go with that. But definitely have at least 3 to 5 lip balm on you. And a side note about that, that's one of our cheapest samples to send. It's 75 cents for that. So that's a good one to get a few samples of. Other cheap samples are the gloss sample strips. They're $1, but you don't have to send them the whole strip. You can send just 1 or 2 different glosses in with every order. So that makes it like 20 cents a single gloss thing. So that's something else you can get. Mascara is huge, mascara and primer. So get 3 of the regular formula, get, I would say probably only 2 of the waterproof formula, and get 3 to 5 of the primers. Because if you guys are selling the mascara without the primer, you're missing a huge markup, because the primer is everything and it really changes how our mascara goes on. And once people start to use the primer, they're going to see a huge change in their lashes. So definitely, oh, go ahead, Barbara.
Should it be black?
I get mostly black and then like 1 black brown. So like my ratio is for every 3 black, I get 1 black brown.
Okay.
So I definitely sell a majority black. However, I will say that my like older, I hate to say older, but like my 50 to 60 age range women are black brown. So you know your clientele better. And if that's like where majority of yours is, get more black brown. And that's definitely also something that when you're hearing, these are all pretty basic minus the mascara, but you guys know your clientele. Like you know them better than I do. So you'll want to modify your ratios a little bit. Okay, primer and mascara. And then I always have like just a few of the popular lip sense colors. Bella, Napa, caramel apple, even caramel latte right now is super popular. I would say those are like my 4. Dark pink. Ooh, dark pink is a good one. Goddess is a good one. I mean, I'm just going straight off the top of my brain right now. So those would be my lip sense colors that I would have in stock. Shadow sense colors that I always have in stock: Mocha Java Shimmer, Sandstone Pearl Shimmer, Garnet. Mulberry if you want a pink in that mix, but I wouldn't necessarily. And then we get to the limited editions and the things that are sold out. So I don't know, and I don't know if you guys read the email any differently than me. I thought the 25% off items were just going to be until they sold out, but I have seen a few distributors say that they end tomorrow. I don't know. I went and I looked. I couldn't find a dead set answer. So I'll ask in our group chat if anybody knows for sure if those 25% items are still available on the 1st when we're all front loading. Stock up on the diamond colors, because for the holidays, those are huge. So sheerberry diamond and caramel apple diamond, get a few of those. And I know I said don't order, but if I happen to find out that the 25% off ends soon, those are good colors. If you did want to get those, like Barbara, if you did want to hit your fast start, you could grab some of those just because those are really good colors to get for the holidays. The liners, the sparkly black, Starry Sky is a popular one for me. And I'm trying to think of what else on that. Shell glitter. I stocked up on the shell glitter, and it's not right now. I don't think it's going to sell like crazy, but I think it's going to sell out. And then come May, when people are feeling all beachy and festive again, you have shell glitter on hand. They're going to want it, and they'll pay full price for it, because they will have forgotten that it was 25% off 5 months ago, more than that, like 7 months ago. So that's the very last little bit of smart ordering, is when you guys are placing your orders, always at the top of the back office, when items are low in stock, they put that at the top of your back office, not on your quick order page, but the top of your back office under the announcements. So I say, like, before you place your orders, scroll through those and see if any of the items are being flagged as low in stock, and take a poll kind of on what your customers have previously bought. Buy a few of those low in stock colors to hold on to. Don't try to sell them right away. Hang on to them for a couple months. And then when they're officially sold out and gone, do a flash sale for full price, and you'll be able to sell those. And because they're unicorn colors and you're creating demand, and people want things that they can't get. And oh my gosh, I can't get that color anymore off the website. It just creates that whole I want situation, which us as human beings, whatever we can't get, we want. So all of a sudden, when you have colors that are sold out, you are on gold. So those would be my things for front loading. Does anybody else have any questions about what could be items for front loading, or any questions about front loading? No? Looks good. I mean, you're all muted, so I can't hear you, but I'm assuming everybody's good. Okay, so smart ordering and talking about front loading, we've kind of hit all of that, which leads me into our weekly hustler challenge. And I was going to do like a whole throw off my glasses, a whole countdown thing. I've decided to keep it even. The first 5 people that front load, and I mean, it could be at any point, just the first 5 of you that front load will each get a $5 Starbucks gift card from me. So not only are you front loading and doing smart business, but I am going to buy you coffee if I would buy you coffee in person. The only person I can buy coffee for in person is Kobe. So Kobe, if you front load before our meeting on Sunday, I've got your coffee. But I will send you Starbucks gift cards because that is our weekly challenge, is to front load. And then a check-in. Crystal, you weren't on the meeting. I don't know if you got to watch the replay of last week's meeting or not. That's okay if not. And Kobe, I don't know if you caught it or not either. I can't see her face, and I know she's driving, but no. Okay. Well, so my challenge was to book a party for the end of the month, just so that you could front load. I am not going to challenge you that every month. I do think that is something that you should keep in the back of your mind, is always, always get that party booked for the end of the month. My timer went off, so I'll wrap this up about this training. So this is what Barbara had asked me about, and we're kind of going to dive into that. And Kobe and I are meeting on it on Sunday, and we'll brainstorm some ideas together as well. But Barbara was asking me about my 12 days of Christmas party. So while we're like thinking about end of the month for next month, I know it seems far away, my other like homework challenge for you is to think about what your Black Friday promotion is going to be and what your holiday sales are going to be. And I will absolutely help you. Like Kobe and I are doing her one-on-one on Sunday to brainstorm Black Friday ideas. And Barbara had asked me about the 12 days of Christmas format. So I'm going to share with you guys now how I do that format. But then I want you to come up with bundles that are good for your customers, because you're starting to figure out what your customers like. But how I do the format. So I do 12 days of Christmas in half the time. You don't have to do it in half the time. If you want to have a nice long party, you could do it over 12 days. I do it in half the time so I can run the party in a week. So the party starts on Sunday night and it wraps up on Saturday evening. So Sunday to Saturday, and we are done with the party. So, oh, you can't unmute. What if I ask you to unmute? Kobe, I just saw your message. I can't even get you to unmute. So don't type and drive. I am telling you that if you can hear me. But if you have questions once you get to work, send them to me over Messenger, because I'm asking you to unmute right now and it's not wanting to work. So Kobe, when you get safely to work, type in your questions in Messenger and I'll get them answered there. So party is over a week. Every day, and this is just our bundles. It's basically the exact thing that like Crystal, what we did for the birthday bashes, it's just bundles. But every day I open up a present from under the tree, and that present contains a bundle, and the bundle is all cute. And my graphic literally is a yellow present or a green present, whatever presents are under the tree. And then I just lay my words over the top of it. So base face, and my base face bundle, CCTM, concealer, white shadow sense, and that's one present. So I just have 12 different bundles that I reveal from under the tree. If that seems like a lot, modify it. Don't call it the 12 days of Christmas, just call it the holiday party, or the stockings hung by the fire with care, and have bundles in the stockings. But that's just basically how I make it any different than a traditional party is I get presents out from under the tree. Similar to how I run my birthday bashes, I do pre-record those videos. So I talk about like, okay, up next, and I don't actually have presents with me, but I've recorded this video and I'm like, up next is our yellow present from under the tree. And inside this, you're gonna find our lip sense bundle. And then I talk about lip sense. So if you're gonna do a holiday party, pre-record all of your stuff in one day and just go in order of like, if you're doing a skincare, start with the skincare one because you've got base, no makeup on. And then if you're doing a base face bundle, talk about the base face bundle and do your makeup, do your CCTM. And then if you're doing a blush bundle, do your blush next. And then do your mascara, or if you're going to do glosses, maybe that'd be a good time to do the glosses or the lip balms. Go in order of how you would do your makeup and just film in one day. And make them short, make them quick videos, like 2 to 3 minutes, if that. And just, if you even have the little stockings or something, you could show them. But it's literally just bundles and the exact same party format that we've been doing, or that's the beauty bash or the birthday bash. It's just using presents under the tree is all. So does that make sense? Cool. So your homework this week is to think of different bundles. And I am joining you hardcore in this homework because I'm going to figure out my Black Friday. I'm going to figure out my different 12-day bundles because I can't do the same bundles I did last year. So we all are going to brainstorm, and then let's bring our bundles to next week's meeting, because then we can fine tune them. We can see what works, and not saying I don't want us all to have the same bundles just because I know some of our customers cross over, but at least we can help each other. We can borrow a few, but I didn't want to have like a mass same thing. So if we all come to the table with our ideas, we'll be able to create a whole bunch of different cool bundles that work for our customers. Cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now that we're over time into book club, Crystal, did you get to do the chapters 1 through 4? I know you've been insanely busy. She's hiding her face. No, it's fine. It's totally fine. And I don't know if Kobe has. I know Kobe read this book a while ago, but I don't know why I can't unmute you, Kobe. I'm so sorry. So Barbara and I are going to chat. You guys can hang out. It's literally all good information, and pretty much what she hits on in the first 4 chapters because I've listened to this book now 2 or 3 times. So when I was listening to it again this time, I was like, man, the first 4 chapters really are pretty much the exact same thought, but in different phrasings. And the big takeaway that I take from the first 4 chapters is what you think and put out into the universe is what comes back to you. And that's in regards to money, that's in regards to sales, in regards to building a team, in regards to relationships. Like that's just life. I mean, we could get deep and go spiritual and the whole 9 yards, but like what you put out is what comes back. And she literally talks about that slightly differently in all 4 of the first chapters. And she's very entertaining, and all of her stories about it are different. But that is my biggest thing is, and people are always, they're like, well, the world isn't unicorns and rainbows. And I'm aware of that. However, if you 90% of the day can have positive, happy thoughts, 90% of your life is going to be overall positive and happy. But we all have those friends that are like, I got a speeding ticket and I got a parking ticket and my house is flooded and my roommate did this. And like, those people, and you're like, yeah, all the bad things happen to you. And you're like, I am sorry, but and I hate to say, but it's what they attract. And not saying that anybody deserves that, but when you put out negative things are always happening bad to me, bad things are going to attract to you. So a ton of what this talks about is just the power of your thought and being able to think positive and know that things are going to come to you. So tons of times in here, she talks about doing meditation, and meditation is so good on like every playing field of life imaginable. But even if you're like, okay, I don't have time to meditate and I don't want you to close your eyes in your car, but even when you're in your car, if you just sit quiet for 5 minutes and just think about things that you're grateful for, that you have a business that you've either started or have been running successfully now, that you have, and you just spend a little time having that positive thought, even just 5 minutes will greatly shift your day. I wrote some of my other notes that I wanted to hit on about this. And this is not a weird thing, but a healthy desire for wealth is not greed. And that's something that I think that I have always had a little bit of like, what is too much? And especially recently, like with all of my friends and me, like when we lost our jobs, but all of a sudden my business was like booming, there was part of me that was like, I should be quiet about this. And I was like, wait, no, I should be proud of what I'm doing. And when I heard her say that again, it was one of the lines that I highlighted. And I'll say it again. A healthy desire for wealth is not greed, or it's not greedy. It's just a desire for life. So don't ever feel bad about wanting to make money and about wanting to succeed. That is not something you should be ashamed of. Immediately after, she follows it with, you're meant to keep growing and thriving, which is something that I am a huge believer in. I think you guys are starting to catch it. Personal development is huge. If you're not continuing to grow as a person, it gets really hard to continue to grow your business. And you'll find that when you get in personal funks, your business gets in funks. So as hard as it is not to mix personal with business, we're in a very personal business because it's us sharing these products. So when we're sharing the products and we're in a little bit of a funk, our customers pick up on that right away. So we need to fill our cup, and it's the old age, like put on your seatbelt before, or not seatbelt, what is it, oxygen mask? Put on your oxygen mask before putting on someone else's. Like you have to take care of you before you can give away. And as we get into the holiday season, think about that a lot. And think about that. This is business and life and everything. Just take a minute to fill you and be good with you. And then you will be so much more efficient at selling and sharing the opportunity and being there for your family and being there for your friends and being present at work. So just focus on that, and like personal development is huge, which is why I'm so happy that we're reading this book. And don't worry, Crystal, you can catch up on it. But it's okay to put yourself first. It's not greedy. It's you then presenting the best you for your customers, or the best you for your family, or the best you for your colleagues. So I'm trying to think of a few of the other things. So she gave you like things, like every chapter she gives you a mantra to say out loud and write down. And then she gives you answers, or not answers, questions to answer. And so we don't have to go through that, because if we went through all of them, there was one for every chapter. We'd have like 20 to go through. But Barbara, I didn't know if you had any of your notes that you took when you were doing them. I know you were driving, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any notes because I was driving.
That's what, when the first time I did it, I was driving and I was like, I need to remember to write these notes. So just something like you already listened to the whole book, but maybe when we go forward, like with the other chapters, just go back to the last 2 minutes of every chapter and listen to the mantra and the questions that she answers and just write them down, just because she's trying to help get past the blocks of that you only should have what you need, and
Right.
Versus an abundant lifestyle. And so she's trying to help you get past those blocks And there's many different things of like, why do you feel like you deserve it is one of the questions. Another block is, what have your parents taught you about money? And there's just a bunch of, there's so many different ways, and it's going to be different for every one of us. But if we kind of each can go through moving forward next week and just write down like one of the things that she's questioning and your takeaway of that, I think it's helpful for us to share with each other versus just me yibber yabbering for the whole time. So I want to do next week, I want to do chapters 5 and 6 because they're longer chapters. So I don't want to go crazy and do, and I realized that I forgot that there was an intro and that chapter 2 was a 2-part. So I was like, oh crap, I gave them like 7 chapters to read. So sorry about that. At least we had 2 weeks to do it in. But right now for next week's meeting, get through chapters 5 and 6 and really pay attention to those final questions at the end and try to take a deeper dive into those questions. I'm going through my notes to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything else. There was one thing I definitely wanted to talk about. Sorry, my notes are a little disorganized. Oh, this one. Oh, Brenda. Hello. Let me get her in. Sorry. Let me get Brenda in here and get a little water.
Hello.
Hey, sorry, taking water. We're just doing book club right now. We're just kind of on the little end bit of book club. So,
All right.
One of the things that I loved in one of my notes was living your fullest life and making the money to do so doesn't take anything away from others. And that was one for me that I was like, oh, I think a lot of girls in this business, I think it's more about sharing the opportunity is where I'm going with this. That a lot of people feel like, oh, well, but we know the same people. And well, we run in the same circle. And that's a whole mentality of lack. And I love that she said this, like you living your fullest life and making the money to do so doesn't take anything away from other people. And by you being successful does not mean that she can't be successful and that I can't be successful and that you can't. We all can be successful. And there's enough to go around, which to me, when I was like, how do I take this directly into the business? This is all about sharing the opportunity and that there is enough to go around of people to join you and to join your team and to do this business with you. And that there's plenty to go around. And so when people come at you with, oh, well, but we know the same people. I guarantee you don't know. Your friend list on Facebook is not exactly 100% the same. I guarantee you it's not. So you could help her figure out who her network is and who her community is. And then I always tell people, it's not your friends that are going to be your most successful clients. It's their friends. So it's never your circle of friends that's your best clients. It's your friends, their friends. Those are going to be your best clients. So when you are sharing the opportunity with your friends, and they're like, oh, well, you have the same friends, have them host a party and you'll see this whole new group of friends. And that's where you can tell her, like, look at all these people that we have that aren't my friends that will be your customers, and you can get her to shift in. That was just kind of how I related that quote specifically to our biz. It does talk about being responsible with money, which I'm also a huge fan of, making sure every month when you're doing your finances that you're putting back money into your business a little bit. And if at any point we want to dive into the finance side of business, let me know and I will be happy to. There's charts in the back office. I know they're available. I personally haven't pulled them up yet just because I've always had my finances done differently for my business, but you can go look in the back office and we can pull up those charts and we can talk about what I do. But being responsible with money and making sure that you are always putting some money aside into your business in case like a customer return comes in and you've got to return something to the company or return her money back. I think being responsible is front loading. Like, it's not saying like, oh, I'm just buying a bunch of product. Like, smart ordering is responsible with your business. And then paying yourself. You've got to give yourself a little bit of money too, because you're doing this business. So don't be afraid to be like, I deserve this. But as long as you're delegating it evenly. Bop, 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 bop. And then I'm trying to think. And then, yeah, the whole have an abundance mentality. I wrote that like 10 times for the third chapter, was have an abundance mentality. No, when you have a goal, don't just, oh, and here are her words. She says, don't just say, I want, because I want equals I lack. And don't just say, I wish, because I wish says that you're not in control. And don't just say, I need, because again, that's a lack mentality. And she says, of course, never say I can't, because obviously is what she says. But get those words out of your head. Saying I'm trying equals you're not committed to it. Saying I hope is a lack of faith. And saying I should or I don't know is just uncertainty in yourself. So when you are setting goals, which we're coming up on November, so I definitely want everybody to be thinking about their November goals. Try really hard to, when you're setting them, write them as if they've already happened. That's a Rachel Hollis thing. She's like, don't write your goals in, I hope I make, I would like to make, I would write it as, in November, I sold $3,000 in product. In November, I have gained 2 new downlines. You write it as if it's already happened. So for your November goals, try to do a sales goal, try to do onboarding, like a new downline goal, and a party goal. And I think if you kind of balance those 3 out, you should have a pretty solid set of goals to be able to tackle, and write them positively. Write them as if they've already happened. And then when you're looking at those goals, try really hard not to be like, I just really want, be like, how am I going to achieve this? Because this is happening for me this month, and get around to it that way in a very positive, it's already happened way, and put them somewhere where you can see them every day. And if you want to share them with me, you are more than welcome to. You don't have to, but I'm very good at being like, hey, by the way, how's it going? And then it also helps me know what you're going for. And so if you want to share, you always can. You would never feel pressured that you have to share your goals. I just always feel like if you put them out in the universe, it's the same thing. What you're putting out is going to come back to you. So you might as well just share them and put all of that goodness out. I can see your face, Kobe. You must be safely at work. I'm asking to unmute you and it's still not doing it, but I can see your face, so it's good to see your face. Okay. So we're done with book club, chapters 5 to 6.
Can you hear me now?
Yay! Yes,
Yay!
I can.
So Erin ended up calling me while we're on the call, and I think it screwed something up, and then it went back to like the Zoom like app instead of just a call in or something. So I was muted on like all the things, and I wasn't unmuting on all the things.
Mute and unmute across the boards. Well, do you remember what you were trying to ask or bring up when it was like 20 minutes ago?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I was just saying that I had started the previous recorded meeting, but then I wasn't able to finish because Little kept trying to poke at it. And then, yeah, I was like, all right, this isn't working. But I think what you were saying with that was the goal or the like homework for them before the next meeting, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. And I have not set up a party. I was going to have a party, but we ended up moving it to November. So I've actually have 2 vendor events and 1 party in November. So that should be good.
Awesome.
And then I was going to say about stock, I don't know if you mentioned, but like CCTM, like I always try to keep that in stock.
Totally. No, that is a good one. I hadn't mentioned it because it's a higher ticket item, but I 100% agree that like,
And
I
like
front
right
loaded
now,
750. So yeah.
Yeah. Right now, I still only have like the light and medium. I actually got a deep to have it because I have a couple darker skinned customers, but nobody's actually bought it. Eventually. But
Eventually.
yeah, I haven't figured out to the other like new in between ones yet because I haven't had anybody purchase, but I have the samples. So I give that out, and there are people that would be interested in that. Oh, and I have not reread those chapters yet. But what I was going to say was, and as you were talking about it, I kind of like remembered a little bit what she talked about. And I don't remember if it was this green book or if it was the yellow one, the You Are a Badass book, but I think it was one of her books. She talks about like how money is like fluid and it kind of like flows. Or is that a different book?
No,
Yeah,
she talks about that.
Okay. And I just think that's a really good point, is like it's fluid. It'll flow out and in. So it's like you let money out and then it'll just come right back in.
Totally.
But that's pretty much it. And I'm going to walk into work now. So
have good work.
bye.
Have good work. And yeah, so I'll recap just the Hustler Challenge to front load. So first 5 that front load get a Starbucks gift card.
Oh, that's right. I'm already planning. I had some. I was going to say that. I always try to do some sort of like party or promo near the end of my month to push me into. And like Dusty Rose came out and I had a couple of people interested. So I was taking like pre-orders. And with limited edition, you have to be careful. But I knew we were close to the month and they've been a lot better about having enough of it. So I knew like I'd be able to get what I needed. And so I kind of like pushed that for next month. And then there's a couple things like I ran out of my shave cream. I want to keep mist in stock now. I sold a CCTM, so I need to add another one of those. And I'm like, I could have ordered on my last order, but I was like, I didn't need it. So I pushed that towards like knowing that's coming up. And then for the people who are like, oh, I want to order this, I was like, cool. I don't have it in stock, but I am ordering on the 1st just to like give them a heads up. And usually they're cool with it.
Yep, totally. Yep, I think that's
So,
good. Sounds like you'll be front loading.
I'll try to front load before our meeting.
Sounds good. All right, have a good work. Oh, okay. She's still on. I don't know. There she goes. Okay, so weekly hustler challenge. We've done that. Homework is come up with your promos for Black Friday and holiday parties. And then I shouldn't feel like it has to be homework, but right now you should be getting your goals lined up for November and getting your goals set up. Before we wrap up, are there any questions? Is there anything you guys want to ask, brainstorm, or are confused about? No, you're all very quiet. No, good. There is still 1 day left in the month. And I know that I keep being like, next month and next month and next month. The reason why I'm bringing this attention, it's the last day for free signups. So don't write off that this month is over. It is crazy the amount of goals and things that happen on the last day of the month. So you absolutely can still, like, Crystal Maiden is still an absolute reality. Like, I know you're like, I don't know, but signing people up on the last day of the month and having them qualify is absolutely, people do it on the last day of the month, because girls who have been eyeing that, it's going to become a snap decision. They don't have time anymore to be like, well, but I'll think about it. Like, the girls that you've had nibble and have had a little interest, and this is for all of you, I'm just going right at Crystal now, but if they've had a slight bit of interest, letting them know that this is the last time that the free sign up is probably going to happen for at least 6 months to a year will push them to do it. And then that there is the lips kit and all of that. And Barbara, yeah, go ahead.
How much does it normally cost?
So it used to be 55, but now it's 65.
Okay.
So 65, I have a feeling it's going to go full price next month.
That's just a good selling point. That's why I was asking.
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't know. And things have been very weird with COVID. There's been more sign up promotions than I've ever seen in my entire life as a Senegence distributor, just because I think they're trying to give back to people who have lost their jobs. They're trying to help them start a new business. But I don't think it is going to be I think it's going to be full price for the rest of the year. I also think it's going to be double DV, which is downline points for us. So for any like trips, any gifts, any of those things, I think it's going to be double points for us next month. So getting people this month is definitely a good thing. So don't enjoy tomorrow, of course. I'm not being like, don't have a Halloween, but don't write it off as like the month's already over. Still try really hard to get that goal and get 1 or 2 more downlines, or like my end of the month downline goal is 3. So I'm pushing my booty off to see if I can get 3 more girls who've been on the fence all month long and like, well, I don't know, I'll get back to you. Tomorrow, I'm hounding them and being like, today is your last day. Let's get you signed up. It's literally free. Let's go. And then get them qualified. So don't forget, don't give up. It's easy to do. It's easy to be like, I'll just start in November, but today and tomorrow, it's still free signups. Help your friends, get them signed up for free, get a downline, all that jazz. Cool? Any other things, thoughts, questions, concerns? You guys are so quiet. I'm unmuting all of you just because I want to hear your voices. Ask to unmute, all of you. There, I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, so, all right, you guys are good? No questions?
Yes, sorry, I'm distracted. My dog was going after something.
No, you're totally fine. I just made everybody unmute because I was like, you guys are so quiet and it's driving me crazy.
There's a reason I was on mute, because of stuff going on.
Lots of things going on. All right. Well, then I am going to, now that we are not in Halloween time over the weekend, I'm going to try to make one of our options for meeting time on the weekend, so that hopefully will encourage other friends to be able to join us. So I will be putting that in the meeting my goal is to do it on Sunday or Monday. And I don't know what happened to me this week for the voting. I'm glad that Barbara sent me a notification. I wrote the message on Monday. She never pressed send. So I will send our voting options on Sunday or Monday, but just so you know, there will be a weekend option in there for everybody to go off of.
Did you record this one?
I did, yes.
Okay, perfect.
I did. So yes, you'll be able to catch the beginning. Yeah, we just talked about front loading, smart ordering, things to have in inventory, a little bit of the holiday party format, and then we did book club. So
Okay, perfect.
Cool, you guys. Well, have a good Halloween. Have a safe, happy, however you feel safe, distancing, candy not, costumes not, whatever makes you happy. Have a good one. And I will chat with all of you next week and send out the poll to vote on. I'll probably do it on Sunday since it's going to be the first.
I think I missed it. What are you and your little nugget dressing up as Halloween tomorrow?
He's going to be a unicorn. I got him a little fuzzy unicorn thing. And I think I'm going to do that unicorn skull makeup that I posted just because I want to try it. I have no idea how it's going to look or not, but I figured it doesn't matter if it looks good or not. I'm just going to sit out in my driveway and have candy on a table at the end of the driveway for my neighbor kids. So
yeah.
Yep. So we'll be kind of unicorns. You want to come say hi, say bye, actually, because everybody's getting ready to go. And he's like, it's my dinner time. So say bye to everybody. Have a good night. Have a happy Halloween.
Right.
Okay, bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.